Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Okay, picking up a bit where we left off yesterday, you know, we were looking at the situation of the bandit in Benue that was on his way to receive an amnesty. That was indeed what the governor wanted to do, but he didn't arrive because he had been intercepted. His convoy has been intercepted. He was in the hands of the military. The military say there was a gunfight, and he's now demised. And the military has told us that he's in a mortuary, in a hospital that indeed has not been named. And we had said yesterday, because a lot of you asked the question, you know, you asked questions, and we said we can't answer any of those questions. But the military had said that today it would be making a statement. Well, in the meantime, our reporters ran into, you know, the Chief of Army Staff, you know, and he had said, when they asked him about it, hoping to get an early scoop on the matter, that he had no comment whatsoever. So you see pictures there. They had hoped that they would get some word, but no comment was you know, what he said. But the in fact, I think we have a soundbite of that.
No comments on that.
It wasn't much more than that. That was as much as the general would say. So, but there still is a press briefing. There will be a press conference that is just about to start, if it hasn't started already. We have a man there, but we understand that it's not exactly the done thing. It's very unlikely they'll allow him to do any live thing from, you know, where the press conference is taking place. I think it's Defense Headquarters. So whatever be the case, we'll let you know later on. But to sort of bring you into the matter, we have with us Dr. Jide Johnson. Dr. Johnson, Chief Lecturer at the Nigeria Institute of Journalism. Thanks for, and it's like we were saying before, happy
New Year. happy New Year. You can't wait for 2020 to go, you know, Yori.
Happy COVID-19 New Year, yeah. In the sense that we're beginning ever so gingerly to, you know,
ease ourselves back to normalcy.
To normalcy. Dr. Johnson, it's an interesting case, isn't it? Because we have two authorities here. The military, of course, it's an authority in its own right, and then we have the government of Benue, and they have been plagued by, you know, terrorists, you know, armed people, generally not giving the people peace, and some people had died. In fact, a security person of the governor is thought to have died at the hands of this guy, nicknamed Gana. So,
well, it's not only Gana. If in the northwest we have bandits in Zamfara, we have in Katsina, where even the governor had meetings with them prior to the election. We recall before the governor of Zamfara left, the former governor, I'll recall his name, you know, he had a meeting whereby they submitted their AK-47 and they were being paid.
That's
so
right.
A situation whereby we have security threats here and there. And you know, the reason why the Southwest governor formed Amotekun is because of this issue of banditry, kidnapping, and the rest of it. And security is a major issue, whether we like it or not. And going forward for 2023 elections will be a major talking point concerning the election. So I have not seen where government negotiate with bandits, except in Nigeria. That's where you have seen people negotiating with bandits, giving amnesty to people that have come internal terrorists. That's if you're using bandit, it's been politically correct, because they are terrorists. When you unleash terror, they want terror. Someone that unleashes terror consistently is what is called a terrorist.
Yes,
so when you unleash a terror on the peace and tranquility, on the lives and property of the people living in a given society, that's terrorism. So a terrorist does not deserve amnesty. A terrorist deserves but we must do these things within the ambit of the law.
Okay, let's find. We have Group Captain Garba Sadiq Shehu with us. Good morning, Group Captain, retired. Group Captain Garba Shehu Sadiq, retired. Good morning, Group Captain. Group Captain.
Hello, good morning.
Aha. Okay, now we wanted to get your perspective, as it were, you being, probably, you probably have a much better understanding of the military and the way it operates. But the way, sometimes when it interfaces with civilian life, we need to reach across. Right now, I was saying that we'll be, our man is already, ready to be at a press conference that's about to be arranged by the military. But going by the terrorist, a bandit, call him whatever you will, the bad guy in, Benue State that was killed by the military, in the sense that, well, the military has admitted as much, that he's dead and that his body has been deposited. But I wanted to ask you, what do you say to that? Because the Chief of Army Staff has said he has no comment on the matter whatsoever.
Okay, thank you very much. The whole issue of Ghana and the military operation, who we learned is dead now, is the fact as of now there are two versions. And we do not have an independent version. There's no inquiry. So probably without, maybe that's why the Chief of Army Staff declined to make a comment until he gets the information. What do we have in the media space? We have the media space two versions. The versions, mostly from the governor of Benue State and others, which I have been following since yesterday, was that Gana has had a meeting with traditional rulers where he pledged to drop his arms, and in essence they told him that they will talk to the state government. Whoever drops his arms will be given amnesty. Again, we have it on story that eventually the governor of Benue State accepted that if Ghana surrenders, he is going to get the amnesty. Now, that is the version that he was on his way to Makurdi with other supporters to surrender his arms officially to the governor. When he was stopped by the military, he was taken from the vehicle where he was going, transferred to the military vehicle, and then later, we don't know what happened in between, his dead body was shot. That is one version. The second version is that of the military, which said that he was stopped at a checkpoint, and along the way, fire was exchanged, and Ghana died. Now, in all honesty, looking at international humanitarian law, international human rights law, and global best practices, if the first version is true, that Ghana was actually stopped and he was taken out of vehicle, from that stage, we can say Ghana is under the control of the security agencies, whether they are army or police or whatever. And as far as the law is concerned, once you have a culprit, no matter how dastardly he is, under your control, the issue of killing him does not arise again. The next stage is to move to the courts. So that's assuming the version of the governor is true. Now, if the version of the military again is true, which says that in the process there was exchange of fire under the right of self-defense, which is recognized by international humanitarian law, international human rights law, and even our own constitution, if any security official in the discharge of his duty receives fire and he surmises that his life or the life of his colleagues are in danger, he has the right to return fire and also eliminate that threat. So these are the two options. But as I said, as of now, only an independent inquiry can tell us which of these two versions is true. Indeed.
Something else, Group Captain. People were asking yesterday, viewers were calling in to ask, and in asking, they were commenting on the facts of the case. The army had said that they had apprehended, arrested about 40 of his colleagues. Now, people were asking if there was an exchange of fire. When there was this exchange of fire, how come it is only Ghana that was a casualty of that engagement, and the military itself says that it is in the process of handing over the 40 people, his men, over to the constituted authority for prosecution. So that part of it again, there was an exchange of fire going by the military version, only Ghana ended up dead.
Well, in all honesty, yes, that is a conundrum that has to be solved also. I also listened to Senator Gabriel Suswa, the former governor. He also placed emphasis on that Ghana was isolated, kind of, from a group. assured. In all honesty, like I said, I am not there. I cannot say this what happened. But then I have given you the two versions. If he was under arrest, honest, it will be very difficult to justify killing him, no matter what he did, even if he killed half of Benue State.
Yes.
If, on the other hand, he exchanged fire with the military have the right under self-defense to also, return fire and eliminate the threat that is posing to them.
Indeed. Well, I want to thank you very much, Group Captain, because there's very little more that we can add, especially as the Army is said to be investigating, and indeed they will be having a press conference this morning. Our man is there already. So I want to thank you very much for your insights into the matter.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, then. So there we have it, Dr. Johnson. We can't preempt the facts, and we don't really know the facts apart from, as the Group Captain has helped out, two versions, and he's given us the two. But the biggest conundrum, again, borrowing the word of the Group Captain, is let's imagine there were 41, including Gana, and only Gana ended up dead. And nobody, our reporters said that, whereas they saw the body of Gana yesterday when they were telling us, they didn't see any other wounded person.
If there's an exchange of fire, we are having a scenario construction to look at an exchange of fire between two combatants, the armed forces of Nigerian militants and terrorists on the other hand. That's the way I ascribe them to be. There's an exchange of fire. There should be casualty on both ends. Under normal rule of engagement, there is probability. If there's an exchange of fire, probability of casualty on both ends,
cannot be
cannot be ruled out. And then there will be evidences, probably gunshots on car. You see, it's a checkpoint. All of those pellets, bullets, and the rest of it. We should be able to see all of those elements. Like, as been rightly pointed out, the Chief of Army Staff said they are going to set up a panel of inquiry to look into the matter. But I think we need to learn from the past. Boko Haram started as a result of the then leader of Boko Haram dying in police custody. And it was said that he was trying to escape, and in the process he was killed. There are best practices in engaging bandits, in engaging terrorists, so that we don't escalate this type of thing into developing new groups of internal terrorists within the country.
And the army, the military, being a law-abiding organization, the question of rule of law came up. And the army itself had said that there were some people that were going to be handed over to the appropriate authority, being the police, for further necessary action. And so how this character, Gana, alone lost his life in the face of the rule of law. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. In the face of the rule of law and a law-abiding army.
It's a mystery also. You recall that kidnapper that was arrested by the squad team of the Inspector General of Police, where some police officers lost their life in terms of engagement. You see, we have a recurring pattern. And I think the Nigerian army needs to do an inquest. An inquest in the sense that there are men in their rank and file that they send to engage in internal policing. Because of this situation we found ourselves, because the police alone could not handle the maintenance of the internal security. So we have different kinds of formations across the states in terms of the military joining in normal policing work. I think there should be an internal inquest on how those that are released should engage in arresting alleged terrorists, alleged bandits, and we don't have to have this explanation and whatever. And another thing I picked up from it is that what is the lines of communication between agencies of government, between the executive and the military formation, for example, between the army formation itself? Something happened, and the chief of staff, there's no signal for the chief of staff to know, and the chief of staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria saying no comment.
Well, exactly. And then there have been some commentators. Some commentators called in yesterday and said, why this hullabaloo, why this song and dance, as they put it, about a guy who was a bad guy anyhow. He was adding no value whatsoever. He was of no benefit. So what's going on?
I'm totally against government giving amnesty. We did it with Niger Delta.
One moment, please, because good morning, Mr. George. Mr. George has called in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
And greetings to Dr. Johnson.
Good morning,
Uncle Yori.
Brother George.
I said yesterday that I didn't see the need for all the hula baloo about this criminal. I'm still saying the same thing. Look at the way we have been managing the so-called amnesty.
But, Mr. George, sorry to interrupt you. What about the rule of law?
Due process, you are saying due process. Was the criminal, did he follow due process in the number of people he killed? But we have to, there is a law of nature. What you do to others is what happens to you. You cannot evade that. I'm not saying the law should not be followed, but in this case, who is making a case for who? He hasn't come out, or anybody from his family, to say, my family member has been unduly killed. This man is a criminal. Okoyeri, there was one Wadume that was allegedly being protected by some security personnel in his criminal activities in Taraba. And when he was supposed to be arrested, the military, the so-called security people, prevented the arrest. Up to now, the lawyers are still feeding fat on it.
Yeah, but perhaps you'll agree, Mr. George.
One popular kidnapper in Lagos.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the name now.
Mm-hmm.
The lawyers and the people in the judiciary sector are still feeding fat on it at the expense of our budget.
But you probably agree, Mr. George, that it's very uncomfortable still staying with the rule of law business, that a person, no matter how dastardly he is, does not go through the process so that it can be seen that we're keeping the law with alleged criminal.
You can do that for a responsible person, not somebody that was a menace to the society. We might as well say, Uncle Yori, if they check out the Boko Haram criminal, if they were able to catch him, we should set up the court system to try him and allow...
But federal government is giving amnesty to Boko Haram. Federal government is giving amnesty to Boko Haram. Some 200 were just released.
Where are we going?
We are in a society that rewards criminality.
That's the point I'm making, Uncle Yori.
Yeah, but that very thing, Mr. George, this very situation that we're talking about now, and I'm not defending him. I'm just looking at it from the point of view of the law. It's done in other countries. Timothy McVeigh, or whatever he was called in the U.S., he brought down the whole World Trade Center. There was no denial of the fact, but he still went through the process before he was sentenced to death.
But America went to the Middle East and destroyed it because of that. They didn't wait for due process.
Okay.
So I'm saying that there are things you follow due process.
Oh, you're talking about Osama bin Laden.
Obvious criminal thing.
Okay.
Didn't they take down Osama bin Laden? Did they get his permission or ask him to come and defend himself in court before they took him down?
Okay, Mr. George, I want to thank you for calling in and giving us this particular perspective. Thank you very much for calling in, because and he's not the only one who made the point in this way yesterday.
Osama bin Laden was declared a persona non grata.
So,
what communication or what information have we had released by government, either the state government or federal government, concerning this character? You see, we live in a society...
See, those ones, I think they call them enemy of state.
Exactly, enemies of state. Are you getting my point? You discuss international enemy. So they are declared as terrorists.
But can we afford to dispense with trials?
No, we can't afford to dispense with it. But government on the same hand must not reward criminality. We see criminality being rewarded in Zamfara State. We saw criminality being rewarded in Zamfara State, where people brought their AK-47. We see it in Katsina. Government said we are not negotiating. I've never seen anywhere in the world where government willingly negotiate with criminals. And if you do that, if you begin to negotiate with criminals, you begin to create new levels of criminals. Until about this year or last year, who knew about Ghana? We used to hear about Wadume, then Boko Haram, then in Katsina State, across the length and breadth of this country. So it's a situation whereby government willingly will use state fund to appease people that are terrorizing the state.
Okay,
this is what we have.
One moment. Good morning, Mr. Joshua.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
And I greet your guest.
Dr. Johnson.
I just align myself with what George has said. I was a bit surprised or shocked at the backlash from the governor. But at this point now, I think the matter is beyond who is killing who. Like you said, granting amnesty to Boko Haram people is absolutely inhuman, because somebody kills and has a right. His right is being protected, but those that are being killed are forgotten.
Well, maybe that's where the governor picked up from, because the governor referred to the now deceased Gana as the repentant criminal. Now, government seems to have the policy of Boko Haram has been referred to in that light, that repentant Boko Haramists, if there's any such word, were being let back into society.
Hello?
Mr. Johnson? Yeah.
Yes.
Please carry on. I was just saying that government seems to have the policy of if they can ascertain that indeed this person as a Boko Haram fighter is a repentant one, then government is about to rehabilitate him. And I wonder if that wasn't the kind of thing that the Benue governor was on about before the matter was taken out of everybody's hands.
Sorry, Uncle Yori, my point is, where is the line between morality in such instances? Where's the line? Those that have been killed by these people, is there anyone holding them to account while their killing is going on?
Okay.
It's just like the same way we practice religion. You go and murder, you come to a church or a mosque and say, I was once a murderer. I killed 30 people, I murdered them, I slaughtered them, and now I give my life to Christ.
Yes.
And everybody starts praising the Lord.
Okay. All right.
Where is our morality?
I get the point.
Maybe there's a point of actually drumming consequences to these people who are in the practice of terrorizing people.
Okay,
we should be talking about consequences to them too.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the point has been made. So, Dr. Johnson, but the point we're making is that at least I am, offering is maybe something of an academic one, in the sense that, look, in a society that goes by the rule of law, you all in that society have delegated to a particular body, in this case the courts, the right to say that
you are guilty or not guilty?
Guilty or not guilty, and in the ultimate case, that you are going to die by hanging or by the execution or by wherever. Now, if anybody else beyond the court says that, then people will begin to get a sense of disquiet.
Uncle Yori, we have witnessed the rule of the mob in this country. Now, look at how we conduct election. How people have access to power. And see how those that are elected reward criminality.
So are you saying
so we have the rule, it's the rule of the mob. It's like we have mobsters. Because it's in our society whereby you see...
Are you saying that there are circumstances in which it is acceptable to to suspend the rule of law?
It's not acceptable. It's not.
There is no circumstance.
There's no circumstance. Everybody must. Otherwise, we have the rule of the mob.
But what do we have on our hands in this case now? At least what it's looking like before the army comes out with the results of its investigation.
It's the rule of the mob.
Okay, well...
that's why governors will give amnesty without the courts to criminals.
I get you there. Touche. So, another call?
Hello.
Ade calling in from London. Good morning, Ade.
Yes, Balogo of National TV Worldwide.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in. Your thoughts quickly, please.
As well.
Yes, Dr. Johnson, thank you.
Please, my contribution is this. Number one, the whole world is watching Nigeria. We're in a global world now. Number two, those Boko Haram that they said they are repentant, they wear white for them, everything. Do you remember one of them still went back home and killed his father? You see? And when you arrest this man, you are not supposed to kill him. You are supposed to take this man through the court so the whole world can see it. And mark my words, in 2023, there will be serious probe set up to investigate the army, the conduct of this military, with the new government that will come up. Because there are many things going on which is very wrong. International people are laughing at us.
Yeah, but the
I'm shocked that my
the army
president
did say that the 40-odd people,
supporting
the 40-odd people will be handed over to the police. 40 others will be handed over to the police.
You know, you have to take him through the court. People are watching.
Okay.
Another government will come in 2023 and make APC. Another government will come in 2023 and will serious support of the military. Okay. And this current service chief will not be removed until after 2023.
All right.
Mark my word. They won't change them.
Well,
write it down. I did said it from London.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ade, for calling in from the
Ghana and the 40 thieves, like Alibaba and the 40
sort
thieves.
of. Sort of.
Ghana, the 40 bandits will be released, but Alibaba...
No, they're not being released. They've been handed over for further action.
They'll be released to the appropriate authority.
What people are questioning now is where did the military get the right to apply action to one of them?
That's why I'm saying there should be an inquest. And like Ade said, some of us have clamored that there's a need for a change in terms of the structure, in terms of the personnel, in terms of the headship of the this is the first time we have had long change of leadership
being theoretical.
Because if you look at the issue of security, if the military could address the issue of security,
yes.
Ghana, the resources, they have all the resources. The banditry in the north, in the northwest, the banditry, Boko Haram and the rest of it, these issues are not being dealt, are being dealt. The issue in these killings in southern Kaduna, where is the military concerning that? You see, that's why I said it's the rule of the mob. And you see this thing, why would the governor give this guy amnesty? You know why? These are the same set of people that they use for electoral purposes. An election is coming up. I'm coming.
One moment.
An election is coming up in Edo State. There's a particular guy that has been paraded across talking about how strong he is and the rest of it. And then you wonder, are we, what type of society are we? Are we in a lawless society whereby people cannot be held accountable to what they share via the media, threatening, I have 2,000 boys that can set this state ablaze in a democracy.
You know, it's going to be interesting to find out what powers the governors have to actually grant amnesty. And I suppose we'll need a lawyer for that. Because it must be based on something.
Prerogative of mercy. The governor has the power.
Well, that one is there in the Constitution.
Prerogative of mercy to declare you that if you have committed a crime, you can go scot-free.
Yeah, but that's after you've gone through a trial and have been declared guilty. Then that kicks in, I imagine. But this one, no processing yet, and I think we have another caller coming in.
And there must be a gazette to that effect.
Is there another caller? Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Okay. Olatunde, yes. Good morning. Calling in from Ireland. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Ireland, yes. I just want to contribute to what you are saying now.
Sure.
I don't think it is anything surprising to see this kind of thing happening in Nigeria.
Well,
we know the kind of thing that is ongoing now in Nigeria is there is bias in every segment of that our society.
Well, forgive me for interrupting you, but the way you started, you don't think it is surprising to see this kind of thing in Nigeria. I'd like to disagree. It is surprising, and that's why there's a whole, as it has been called, hullabaloo. It's not normal at all.
I know it's not normal, because what is going on in Nigeria itself is not normal. That's why I think it's not surprising.
It is surprising, but thank you very much for calling in.
It's not surprising seeing that.
Okay, sorry. It is a bit surprising to see what looks like before the results of investigations come in, like the army taking the laws into its own hands. That is surprising. We have a law-abiding army. But I don't know, do I have to go to a break now? I think so. Stay with us, please. We'll take a break, but we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and it's turned out to be something of a very lively, if not debate, conversation. How Gana, the bandit, alleged bandit, he's died before he had his day in court, and it's caused a conversation. The military itself is holding a press conference just about now. We don't know, but the Chief of Army Staff did say yesterday when he was asked by reporters about it that he had no comment. Probably didn't want to prejudice the investigation, the press conference that will be coming up now, or preempt it. Here we are. I imagine that legal purists might take a dim view of the situation that, look, nobody is saying this person is a saint. In fact, if you want, theoretically, he could be the worst of the worst, you know, as specimens of a human being. But people sort of have accepted the convention that everybody has his day, and then the only person in society has delegated with that power, aka the courts, can pronounce a death sentence. Any other person pronouncing a death sentence and actually going ahead to execute it in a democracy, it gives cause for concern.
Exactly, and that's where the role of the governor is. You know, if a death sentence is pronounced, the governor that signs that sentence. And in these regards, I think that governor in the discharge of their duty needs to consult with the Attorney General. The Attorney General, we need to such
we need to find out a bit more about where the governor derived his powers from.
What type of advice are the Attorney General giving to their governors in the exercise, or what advice did the Attorney General of the Federation give to the President in releasing Boko Haram, repentant, quote-unquote Boko Haram? So we need to throw such light on
Jonathan has come on the line. Good morning, Mr. Jonathan.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, how's work now?
Great to have you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I want to confirm what happened in Benue State yesterday.
Yes.
So what those military people did is very wrong.
Actually, it was day before yesterday.
Because I have saw what happened in Zamfara State. You have the guy that next to bandit. It happened in Katsina. And when those guys are going to surrender, no military man has been ambushed to shoot them. So what happened yesterday is that maybe it's a conspiracy from the soldier. Because that guy has surrendered his ammunition and want to grant ammunition, according to what I heard yesterday during one of your programs, journalist hangouts. Is the villager that convinced the governor to grant amnesty for the guy. Even the guy, the first phase of amnesty took place because I saw a picture where the guy surrendered the arm with some traditional rulers and some clergymen in their local government. So on their way to come and surrender to the state governor, they're not in ambush. Why the same thing did not happen in Zamfara State, where the bandits surrender, and the same did not happen in Katsina State?
Yeah. So
why this guy was so special? So there is some conspiracy in this thing. And military, their work this time, they're always doing the bias. So if they can take the same thing, let it happen to these bandits in Zamfara State and Katsina State.
All right.
So what happened yesterday? I'm not happy with the way the military treat the issue.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling in. We'll have to leave this conversation here because such is the nature of it that it could go on for the next 3 hours. Every Nigerian who is watching and has access to a phone would have an opinion and would want to share it. But we've got to put the lid on somewhere. And so thank you very much for contributing to this particular subject. As I said, the military authorities are holding a press conference this morning, and we shall soon know what further they have to say to the Chief of Staff's no comment from yesterday. Okay, now let's move on to another aspect of our lives, and that's, of course, health. The striking doctors, that's another threat. That's totally different, but it is a threat in these times. Even when we don't have a pandemic, it always is a very uncomfortable situation. When resident doctors go on strike, we hear that resident doctors make up a very broad base of the medical healthcare pyramid, a very broad base right up to the very top. So Dr. Stanley Egbogu, Publicity Secretary of the National Association of Resident Doctors, he's joining us. Good morning, Dr. Egbogu.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Indeed, our pleasure. Update us, please, on the whole matter of the strike by the National Association, by all doctors, or by resident doctors. Is there any hope that it will be as short as possible, or might even, be cancelled? So where are we exactly now?
Yeah. Thank you. Yesterday, we had a meeting with the federal government and between the leadership of NAD and the Ministry of Labor and Employment and the Minister of Health and other stakeholders. We had some discussion on the way forward. The federal government brought some things into the table. They promised they are going to pay us the June COVID inducement allowance. They say they are going to pay the medical residency training funding we asked for, but that will be in 2 weeks' time. And they also made promises that a new hazard allowance will be negotiated for every health worker. Now, these resolutions or conclusions we intended to bring it to the notice of our members across the country, and we would review it, and then we'll now take further decision whether we will continue the strike or not.
I see. Interesting. When you say you will review and find whether it is acceptable, it does address most of the concerns, doesn't it? Or what was left out, for example, that would not, democracy apart and, taking it back to the larger body before decision, was anything left out that you thought was significant?
That was left out?
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Our 2014, 2015, and 2016 salary arrears, we are left out. Hello?
Carry on, please. We can hear you, Doctor. We can hear you.
Okay, I said our 2014, 2015, and 2016 salary shortfall was left out, and then the Medical Residency Training Act, the domestication by federal and state, some federal and state tertiary institutions was also left out. And these two issues are actually important to our members. And the state tertiary health workers under our association will not find it funny that these matters were not brought to logical conclusion. Now,
Doctor,
okay.
What I am always taken aback by the incessant strike by professional association, by ASSOCIATIOON, by doctors and the rest of it. What we talk about are allowances. Most of it has to do with our salary. I don't see us talking about government improving facilities or providing the necessary infrastructure that will enable us to do.
Would you agree with that viewpoint, Dr. Bogu?
To do our job. There is that general perception out there that what we care about as professional body, whether in ASSOCIATIOON.
Dr. Johnson, let me get his perspective. Do you agree with that assessment, Dr. Bogu?
Yes.
Do you agree with that perspective, that invariably it's some pecuniary issue as opposed to maybe, other aspects? Did you hear his comment? Dr. Ebogu?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Did you hear Dr. Johnson's comment? That usually professionals strike because of one monetary aspect or the other, and not the substantial aspect of improving the society and indeed their profession in an important way. Would you agree with that assessment?
Well, sorry, I didn't get your question. I was having network challenges.
Okay.
Let me trim another one.
Well, maybe. Actually, as a guest yourself, I think let me just. Well, it was an interesting perspective, and I don't know if other people share it, that professionals generally are thought by some to agitate for better conditions and that kind of a thing, but not for the substance of their profession in a fundamental sort of a way. So I wanted to know what you thought about that remark by our guest, Dr. Johnson. Okay, it's not.
The network is.
It's not going to work. In the meantime, Reverend Dominic, I don't know if it is Reverend Dr. Dominic, has called in. Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning. It's not Doctor. It's Reverend Dominic.
A Reverend is a doctor.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Dr. Jide.
Good morning, Reverend.
Please, Yori, could you do this service to me?
Okay.
Doctors, we need to sympathize with them at this time. Could I comment on that issue of Benue State?
Very briefly, because I understand. Very briefly.
Seconds,
Go ahead, please.
50 seconds.
Go ahead.
I was surprised that Dr. Jide doesn't have information of this man. During the time of Suzuan, this guy has a bounty of 10 million who will catch him. And there was something like also amnesty. After the sign of the amnesty, this guy also went in play of killing. Number two, I supported APC and Buhari, but this guy have given us a bad name.
Do you remember a mass burial in Benue? This man was the man behind the mass burial killing in Benue. Now, the APC government then was pleading to the government of Benue, don't do mass burial. Hence, we have some idea of the killer. They call it herdsmen to give Buhari bad name. This is a guy who was killing. I was surprised Susan was defending him. I was surprised this governor was defending him. It happened to my own state, Abia. Governors are the creators of these monsters. Do you remember a man called Osisikango was their monster? And they got them. What I'm trying to say here, the death is good. And for the first time, I support the Chief of Army Staff. It's good to keep moving. People will not be killing. I will be giving them amnesty.
But Reverend Dominic, I hear you, sir. I hear you, Reverend. Reverend, I hear you. I just wanted your thoughts on the rule of law aspect to this whole matter. Would you also suspend it in this particular case, and then we sort of resume it with other more comfortable cases? I think maybe Reverend Dominic has left. So whereas one understands the way people are feeling emotionally, there still are the principles of the thing that needs to be addressed one way or the other.
I think Reverend Dominic did not get it. This is my argument. This is my argument is that we are a government that rewards criminality.
Well, these
criminals are used as electoral instrument.
He said as
and
much.
When they are used as electoral instrument, they become a behemoth to the society. They become untouchable to the society.
I got the impression that Reverend Dominic actually is largely in agreement with you.
So we have the rule of the mob, and the governors and our administrators are culpable because we are in a society that rewards criminality. People willingly and openly we threaten violence, and they will not be held accountable. And those that have run contrary to the established order are the ones that are eliminated. We spoke about Wadume. You know, I didn't know whether it was George that spoke about Wadume. The case of Wadume is still in court. The police officer that arrested him, the IGP cracked him. Some of them are dead, and there's nothing that has happened to that effect. For us to move forward in this society, our governors must operate within the ambit of the law. They must not grant amnesty to criminals, and they must not use criminals as instrument for election.
I think there's another call coming in. Hello? Chidi.
Hello.
Good morning, Chidi.
Good morning.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Dr. Jide.
Good morning.
Yes, Uncle, my take this morning has to do with the current down-tooling of the NAT.
Excellent, thank you.
National Association of Resident Doctors.
Sure.
I want to appeal to the federal government of Nigeria, the Ministry of Labor and Employment, the Federal Ministry of Health, and every other stakeholder in the health sector. Because these young men and women that are engaged in taking care of the lives of Nigerians should be treated optimally, should be given what is rightly due to them, should be protected because they are taking enough risk, especially during this pandemic. Therefore, if we really cherish the health of our people, whether at home or in the diaspora, we should do all the needful in order to place every doctor, every nurse, every person that is in the health profession, what is really due to him or her. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Well, Dr. Gbogu is still in there, your co-guest. Well, you said that government, you've been in negotiation, you've been in discussions, and government has given you, what you want to take back to the larger body and get, as it were, the mandate, how to go, whether to suspend the strike or continue with the strike. Is that correct?
I can't hear you. Can't hear.
We're having a challenge with Dr. Egbogu's audio, for instance. It's very, very unfortunate. I don't know if if the thing has frozen. Okay. Well, I can only say to Chidi, of what Chidi said, very well said. Because that is the point of view of the doctors.
We will continue to have this useless, unnecessary national strike. We should deregulate it. We should practice federalism in totality. If I want to practice medicine in Lagos, why should I practice medicine in Lagos should be collecting the same salary with someone practicing medicine in Kara and Amada? Nigeria is an aberration. We want federalism on paper. We don't want federalism in reality. Why should doctors in Lagos be collecting the same salary with doctor in Ogun? The same salary with doctor in Ondo? The same salary. Why should lecturers in University of Lagos be collecting the same salary with lecturers in University of Benin Kebbi? Why? It's an aberration.
But why not?
Why not? That's why we have national, that's why you have useless strikes. Let each state, let each region, let them negotiate this. Until we do that, we have this. How many times has ASU striked? How many times has resident doctor striked? You know, look, let me tell you, Uncle, even comparatively, Nigerian doctors are better paid. If you look at in terms of even the structures which they have. How many doctors elsewhere can have private practices? How many? How many? Okay. How many can be employed under government and they operate their own private hospitals? I'm asking, how many professionals does that? Can you operate here and have your own private?
Easy, Dr. Johnson.
So until we, because look, you know how many people have lost their lives? I knew when my wife was sick. I knew when doctors went on strike.
Okay.
Why should doctors go on strike?
Mazi Okorafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Professor Johnson. Long time no see, long time no. Good morning,
Dr. Johnson, who is not a medical doctor, just in case you are not familiar with our program.
You see me in Awetuku soon.
Well, doctor is to me, he's already a professor. Whether we like it or not, it's Professor Johnson. Let's face reality. Look, what Professor Johnson is saying is a fact. But the thing is that we have a lot of consultants. Now that the doctors are on strike, the consultants are now doing the job. When the resident doctors come back, the consultants will just sit at the back. That is not true. But the thing is this.
Do we still have Dr. Egbogu? Dr. Egbogu, are you still with us? No, okay. I would have wanted him to be hearing and be reacting, but I've just been told that the line is so bad.
When all these consultants, they are not they are not doing the job with their supposed to, because the consultants are the part and parcel of doctors going on strike. Because when the consultants are moving, they will carry all these doctors and follow them. Now you ask yourself, why is it that people are having a lot of problem with doctors? Nigerian government, if they want to pay, let them pay them so that that will have a final say that no, tomorrow there will no strike. Why is it that Nigerian doctors rush to outside country to do? American reports show that when they said that Nigeria should not come to America with that visa issue, what happened? There was a report on one of these channels, that's the foreign channel, that 53 to 58% of doctors outside, that is in America and UK, they are all Nigerians. Why must it be so? Now, our home doctors that are presently now, if they can have at least, like what the Professor Johnson is saying, let them stick to their job. Our government should pay them. The allowances should pay them when due. And all this issue of the allowances that they should pay them. Because the situation whereby they leave them to be ringing from one hospital to another hospital makes it seem that people die. Honestly speaking, Mr. Jody, if you go now to the hospital and see what is happening now, you will cry for this country.
Indeed.
Because many doctors are there. Now, what happened now? Now that many of them are rushed down to private hospitals doing PP. And they even some of them want this strike to continue. So you're going to do their own people, and their strike will still be going. Now, government should pay them their salary, or if they don't want Nigeria, then they pay them and let them go and see them. But the thing that we need the doctors, and they should dedicate their duty and leave all this private business and face that if you are the special hospital, if you are the teacher hospital, be the teacher hospital. If you are private, be in private. Not jumping from one hospital to another, creating more problems. So they should try when they are going to do. Conduct a test, not just try one kind of test and say, God.
Okay, Doctor. Okay, Mazi. Okay, Mazi. Unfortunately, we're having challenges with the line that Dr. Egbogu, who I'm sure will have a heck of a lot to say about this matter, is on. And so, even if he's hearing the live broadcast, the program on TV now, he can't actually respond, and I imagine he won't be agreeing with everything. Let me just recount what he has said, that, they're in talks with government. government has given them some things. They're taking it back. But he said left out that was important to them matters of the shortfalls in their salaries for, I think he said 2014, 15, 16. And 16. So all those things are there. And Dr. Johnson actually is on the other side of this particular conversation. Dr. Johnson is an academic doctor, just in case you are not, everybody who watches our program knows that already, but just don't think that Dr. Johnson is a medical doctor. So just, you know, that's where we are.
That's what we are saying. I'm not in support of government not paying the doctors their due. They deserve
we heard that in Lagos. But we heard that in Lagos before. I think it has been sorted. Some 5,000 naira hazard allowance for being on the front line. Wait a minute. 5,000. That was adjusted. I understand it became 20,000. And the doctor was saying to us yesterday when we had him on that actually I think they paid it once. Is there another caller coming in? David in Abeokuta. Good morning, sir. David in Abeokuta. David, can you hear us? Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Quickly, David.
Ondo State. Ondo State.
Oh, it's an Ondo State. Sorry about that. Good morning. Go ahead, please, quickly.
All right. Please, I want to contribute to the health workers.
Yeah.
I supported the resident doctor to go on strike.
Okay.
Yes.
Why?
Because even though in Ondo State here, in teaching hospital here, all the medical practitioners, in some cases, they declared their salary to 36,000 from they got 30,000 from their salary, saying that their money is too much in this pandemic area where we are facing a lot of COVID, a lot of patients, and they don't even pay salary. So I personally, I supported the resident doctor to go on site.
Yeah, but David, are you a doctor yourself? David, are you a doctor or a health worker? I mean, you would know. Are you in the admin? How would you know the details you've just given us?
I work in Unity Medicine Hospital.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling in, David. Thank you very much for calling in. In fact, David is, I think, he's just about the last caller we can actually take, but to round off on this whole matter. The Association of Resident Doctors, their strike is imbalanced because it's not yet Uhuru. They still have to take a decision.
How often do they go on strike? Let's do it.
No, you've made that point.
Let's do it in the last.
No. We don't have the time. But you've made the point that too frequently. And then the other subject that we dealt with at the top was, you know, the whole matter of the killing. Some people might say extrajudicial killing of, an alleged bandit. Those are the subjects that we looked at today. And thank you very much for contributing to them and making it interesting, at least, you know, to get our minds around those particular subjects. So that's our program. You know, as we always say, do your best to stay safe, please. COVID-19 is not out of town yet. That's our program today. We'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now.